Philly's a very unique city in a lot of different ways. Even just, being from New York and going over there, you just sense it as soon as you get in there. And one of the things that I always find crazy, well, not crazy, but just like it leaves an impression on me is it's a pretty gnarly place. And I know that it's like it's had its up and downs over the time. Like in
Oh
1970s, it
yeah.
had a crazy gang problem, and I know that right now, out of all the cities in America that have a population of over 1 million, Philly has the highest violent crime rate. And you were growing up, you rep Philly for forever. That's your home, that's your place.
Yeah.
How do you think growing up there has shaped you as a man and shaped your mentality and how you see things and how you act?
Oh man, I mean, inner city living, man. Like Philly is Philly is Philadelphia, man. It's a lot of love out here, but it's a lot of negativity too. And unfortunately, um, at my age, I have to, I recognize I've lost a lot of my friends to the violence in Philadelphia. Not, not like a couple, but a lot of people that I thought that, were gonna be with me for most of my life, have just been taken.
Hmm.
And I thought that was bad, but when I lived in Oakland, California, and I'm not trying to take away from how violent Philadelphia was as a city growing up in, but when I lived in Oakland, California, I think they had like a population of 300,000 people, but they had the same murder rate as Philadelphia for a couple years. And you just said we there's a million plus people here, so being there, I saw a much more violent community. And I would tell my friends back in Philly, yo, they shoot every night out here. Like not just a couple guys shooting guns, but the whole community letting off guns. It was a very violent society back in the 80s when I was in Oakland. So coming back over here, I recognized that there were different kinds of true violence. Like out there was this, small city, Oakland, California, of a lot of blacks and Mexicans that were fighting over drug turf and small you know uh the police weren't doing anything. They were corrupt in a very like corrupt city. In Philadelphia, it was much more large scale. The corruption is everywhere, but government's so real and so strong here, you don't see a lot of it. And you get desensitized to it because it's in the news all the time. So you don't really, think about it as much. In Oakland, I literally was hearing, black gunshots, that night, like a couple houses down from me, and then bang, they like, yeah, they killed so and so last night. I'm like, whoa, because that's close. That's really close. In Philly, I could be at home and get a phone call. Yeah, so and so got shot down over here, and that's across town, and it's just a bigger city, so it doesn't seem to hit you as much. But I've learned that violence is violence no matter where you go. And growing up in these inner cities, in these hard neighborhoods in America, period, violence is going to be a part of your life. You know what I mean? You grow up thinking, well, it's just not going to be me. Trust me, nobody out here who gets killed thinks it's going to be them.
Yeah.
They all think it's just not going to be me. And after a while, you have to learn to really maneuver, and stay out of the fray. But it's harder for the younger guys. It's not as hard for me anymore. You know what I mean? People don't look to me as a threat. I'm an older man. But the younger guys, they seem to have it even worse than we had it when I was that age.
Mhm.
And so, growing up in the city has made me very sensitive to to what's going on with the death rates. It's not like this is something I say, oh, this is a epidemic problem. This has been a horrifying nightmare for decades,
Yeah.
decades and decades. And you know, every time somebody who I know gets murdered, I think about other people in my life. You know what I mean? And it it just gets difficult, man, to realize that most of us aren't gonna make it. I'm surprised I've made it this far. Honestly, like most of us are not gonna make it. I have like a group. I have a picture. I'm gonna tell you what's like the real story. I got a picture of me and two of my buddies. We're in my bedroom. We taking pictures with a handgun. All three of us. Two of those, it's only 3 pictures. Two of the boys are dead. My boy Batch dead, my boy Reed's dead. Both of them were shot, killed. I'm the only person that's alive out of those little 3 pictures we took. It's the weirdest thing, but that's what that's what it's taught me, that most of us aren't gonna make it in these urban societies, man. We just not gonna make it.
Mm.
Um, and I'm blessed to have still been here, but do I think it's bad? I think it's terrible. I think it's terrible for these young people to have to go through this. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Why do you think that you are still alive as opposed to some people who you grew up with, who you've mentioned in other things like Dream, Reed, Sam,
Uh,
who they did kind of the same things. You grew up together doing the same kind of things in the same place, and you're still alive. You ever think, does that trip you out? Like, you ever think
yeah, it
about that?
does, because what's the difference? If you walk the same blocks and you hung with the same people, like, it's just a matter of timing, right? And you're like, wow, um, hey, each one of those people that you just mentioned, Dream, Reed, Sam, those 3 people were very loving people to me. You know what I mean? Like, not just friends, but very loving to me. So to see them like taken away, and I just lost my friend Stair due to illness. You know what I mean? I lost my friend LaRon this year due to violence. He was murdered. You know, it, it that's been going on for years. But why me? I have no idea. But I don't know if it's over, right? You never know. If you live out here in Philly, listen, it could be me tomorrow. It could be. So the only thing I can do is try and be around positive people
Mm,
and really not, subscribe to the kind of things that will put me in that situation,
of course.
right? Like, I'm not the type of guy, like, first of all, I'm a graph writer to the end. I'd rather paint than do anything. So I'd rather go paint than go to a bar. I'd rather go paint than go to a party. I'd rather go paint than do most things. Trust me. You know what I mean? So I don't congregate and hang out with people. Every once in a while I visit my friends, but I'm not the type of dude that's like, come on, let's go to the bar all night. I don't do that. So, and a lot of that is not because I don't, I'm scared to or anything. It's just that it's just not where I'm not really interested in doing all that. I'd rather be painting something. That's real. I'm gonna just keep it 100. Um, and I think the graph has saved me in a lot of respects. You know what I'm saying? Took me out of the way. I told
Yo, yo, yo! I can't hear you. I can't hear you.
my
All right, good.
fault.
You're good
My
now.
fault. On my thing. As long as I got something that I can do, something that I feel like is positive, and that's graph, then I'm not in the way with everybody else. You know what I mean? I'm not standing on the corner where, somebody could have an argument and I could get hit by a straight bullet, right? Not to saying that my friends were in the wrong places were out there like that, but I'm trying to limit those things because it's from experience, right? If my friend got shot standing on the corner, then that was a lesson that I shouldn't be standing on the corner because you could die there. So I'm gonna heed that lesson. You know what I mean? If if my other friend got shot walking through the projects, you know what I'm saying, and he had jewelry on and they tried to rob him, then probably shouldn't be so gaudy walking around with jewelry. I shouldn't do that because I could see how far they'll take it.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Percent.
It's arguing with people. Don't argue with people. Like, you're gonna get hurt one day. Somebody gonna hurt
I
you.
want to say something before I do this. Yeah, I mean, they say that the best self-defense is really knowing what situations to not put yourself in the first place. And then also, yeah, in terms of the arguing about people, people are so quick to argue with people, to say this to this person. You don't know who you're talking to. You don't know what they have on you, what just happened to them 20 minutes ago, 2 days ago. A little quick argument for your ego of saying something could change your entire life right then and there. I know people and have friends who just, they're not here anymore because they said the wrong thing to the wrong person, and one thing
Exactly.
leads to the next, and before you know it, it's over. And then all for what? For an argument so you could get your words out and prove yourself to what?
Well, you know what? Like, I just learned that, like I said, it's a growing thing. I've done it. I've talked crazy to people and done it, but also realized that, nowadays people do it online, right? And you get online, you start talking tough. You're saying this to somebody else, but other people are watching you. Other people are seeing this and reading your comments. You're putting a target on your own back. You're gonna have somebody who ain't got nothing to do with it decide I'm gonna fuck him up, right? Just shit like that. Like, you're inviting shit to your own plate. It's like the mark of a true man is knowing when to remove himself from a bad situation. And I understand that nowadays, you know, it's just not that we don't live in that kind of world for this kind of petty stuff. I mean, think about the world in general right now. People are so violent right now. It's unbelievable. You know what I mean? Like everybody wants to use guns, especially in America. Everybody wants to fight. You know, you look on the internet and it's nothing but fight videos. People getting knocked out. You know, people purposely like shooting at each other. You know, it's like a thing you can look up, IG deaths, or you know what I mean. You can look it up and they'll show you all the people that got killed on IG live. Like what? That's crazy.
Yeah.
But that's what we live in now. So violence has become like a, a, a fetish
Yeah.
in America.
It's sad though because bro, we got to do better, man. This is ridiculous. Like
Man,
yeah, like it's not in our nature to want to be doing this. Everyone wants to feel love at the end of the day. Everyone wants to be happy. Like we shouldn't be
bro.
aiming towards this type of vibration on this earth. Like I just seen something how I think the mayor or something of Chicago was like their murder rate is insane right now, and they're like dressing up for Halloween as like hand sanitizer and like some like COVID masks, like and like playing a joke. You know what I mean? It's like
Yeah,
some crazy shit, and there's like some real stuff going on, and like
yeah.
you know what I mean? It's up to us. We can't rely on the upper ups to like watch
It's
out for us anymore, man. I think that's what we've come to realize, honestly.
it's definitely up to young people to really kind of to voice themselves. You know what I mean? In all respects, and use all the tools that they have at their disposal to do it. You know what I mean? I think art is proven to be a powerful voice, and I think you have people that are living it. It's best to hear it for them. As a graffiti writer, I feel like all graffiti writers are basically like we love the sign of the times. Anything happens, we want to paint it. You know, it doesn't matter who does what. If it's funny to us, if it's something we think is crazy, we're ready. We're ready to put it out there for the world to absorb. So I think um, that's a great thing for art, and it's also a great thing for graffiti writers to kind of recognize the power they have because I think that'll help them in their business. I think it'll help them, you know what I mean, as people. You know what I mean, and overall, just as artists, to really get comfortable with freely expressing yourself. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and like you said, you keep touching the same strip over and over and over and over again. Eventually, it's just a matter of the odds that something is going to happen to you. So, what would you say to the youth listening right now? There's probably tons of writers who are going to listen to this who look up to you, and they're like you and other writers are like legends, as like gods in their eyes. And what would you say to them as advice, just generally, of how to, they're not going to stop writing, approach graffiti in a positive way, that they're not going to feel the
Well,
negative effects of it to the force.
honestly, listen. I'm not here to tell no kids not to write, or no. I'm not trying to tell anybody not to actually be involved in the realest of real ways, and
Uh-huh.
that's to exert, put yourself in it. Um, but what I would say is, it's your personal journey, however you decide to take it. You know what I mean? Like, be safe, be careful. Uh, and I would personally pick and choose how I want to express myself. You know what I mean? Like, if you feel as though that you want to get the most rep, be safe, be careful. You know what I mean? If you feel as though you want to be the best at a certain thing, I just want to do, you know, rooftops. Yo, be safe, be careful. You know what I mean? Like, if you say I just want to do characters, yo, be safe, enjoy, be careful, whatever you want to do. I'm not here to judge you and tell you what not to do, but what I would tell you is that um, don't get involved in jealousy and petty like beefs. Don't don't try and turn your graph crew into a gang. You know, be a graph crew, man. Like, you know what I mean? I understand. I know y'all gangster, y'all hood. We all from the ghetto. That's dope. I feel you. But really, like, it's not that necessary. You know what I mean? I mean, maybe if you're from a certain side or a certain part of town where that is the way it's going down, fine. But to me, I feel like fighting over graph beef is corny. Fighting over, you know, yards, train yards is corny. Fighting over walls is corny. Like, come on, man. Like, ain't nobody got time for that. Fighting over Xing somebody and like really, like I always feel like if somebody asks me, I'm not gonna really give them a whole lot of shine. I'm gonna just keep going harder and outshine them. Like I'm never gonna give them credence. I'm never gonna sit there and like give them that and be like, oh, you hurt me so bad. Nah, fuck out of here. I know what it was when you did it. It was jealousy. I'm not capable of having beef with you. I have to keep moving on.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you know what I mean? Just can't do it. And I think that that would be my advice is to don't ever let somebody take you into a negative space, no matter what you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care if you just want to bomb and be the biggest bomber. Just don't let nobody get you into a really bad space, man. Like where you're into some like political bullshit or you know, you're getting into like violence. Because I visit some of these other places when I go to paint. And a lot of times, man, I hear about the beef of the neighborhood. I hear about the beef of this wall or the beef of this yard. And I just want to be like, damn, yo, for real? That's what y'all doing? Like I wouldn't even be worried about that. I would just be painting, bro. I would just ignore it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just outshine it.
Mm-hmm.
Because people will take note to the passion you had towards your art
Mm.
and realize, you know, that supersedes anybody else's pettiness.